What up, guys? Back again with another UFC fight picks video on the UFC Fight Night card, Lawler versus Dos Anjos. Let's go ahead and get started here with these picks. So we got the Fight Pass prelims. According to this, they got 2 fights, but I think they changed it to 1 fight. But I'm not too sure about that because they canceled the Tim Elliott fight. So don't hold me to that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So first fight of the night, we got Nordine Taleb versus Danny Roberts. So as a quick pick here, I'm gonna pick Danny Roberts. I think he is, what is he, the favorite? He's actually a slight underdog there to Taleb. So yeah, I like Danny Roberts. I think he's the better striker, more volume. Also has, you know, really good jiu-jitsu off his back. I like his striking style. Let me just check out Roberts' last fight. I wonder if it was the Mike Perry fight. Nah, I don't think it was. It was some other fight. He knocked out Bobby Nash. He got taken down twice in that fight, but he was able to still catch Bobby Nash's chin and then knock him out. Before that, he did lose to Mike Perry, you know, in the 3rd round by knockout, but he was doing decently in that fight also. Landed a lot of strikes. Against Dominic Steele, he wins that fight. Against Coy, he wins that fight. So yeah, this guy is, you know, 3 out of 4 in his UFC career so far. And yeah, like I said, he has really good striking. As you guys can see there, his summary: boxing, speed, athletic. So yeah, I like his striking style, and like I said, he has that good jiu-jitsu. Taleb, this guy's a kickboxer, getting a little bit older there, 36 years old. Good striker though, coming off a win here against Oliver in camp, a guy I've never even heard of. And then he lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio not too long ago, and then he beats Eric Silva, and so on. To me, I just feel like Roberts is going to be able to outstrike him. He's going to be quicker, and he's going to land the better shots. Taleb does have some takedowns here in this game, but you know, I don't feel like he's going to really go to that too much. I think it's going to be more of a stand-up fight, and I think Roberts will win that fight all day. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Roberts by decision. I think Taleb seems pretty durable. So yeah, Roberts by decision. Alright, now for the featured fight on the Fight Pass prelims, we got Jordan Mein versus Eric Silva. So another quick pick here. We got Jordan Mein, negative 125 favorite. A lot of the fights are pretty close here on this card, but I am picking Jordan Mein. I just feel like he's the better fighter at this point. Eric Silva, to me, this guy, you know, his chin is pretty suspect. And yeah, I don't know. To me, it seems like he's just like a different fighter nowadays. Not as explosive. And, you know, he's kind of looking like he's kind of washed up already, you know. But Jordan Main's still young, only 28 years old. But, you know, he's built, you know, he's got a lot of miles on him. Has a lot of pro fights. And wow, this is very bad actually. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, so that looks very bad right there, but I think he's gonna snap that streak against Eric Silva, getting older, 5 years older than Jordan Mein, coming off a 2nd round knockout. Before that, his win was against Luen Chagas, where Chagas was actually beating that ass too for a bit, and then he has all kinds of other losses after that. So both these guys are not looking great right now. Silva does have the more recent win, but both guys ain't looking great. But I just feel like Jordan Mein here still got, you know, more potential. I still think he has less miles on him than Eric Silva, even though he has more fights. You know, I just feel like Jordan Mein has more left in the tank. And yeah, I see him winning this fight, and I see him getting a knockout. Hopefully he comes out looking, you know, like, you know, the guy who fought Thiago Alves, where, you know, he almost knocked out Thiago Alves with that body kick, I think it was. But yeah, this guy's, you guys can see he has knockouts on his record, 1st round KOs. I mean, this guy got the, you know, the skills, but, you know, it seems like, you know, I don't know, he's gotten a little bit lazy or something, but, you know, just hasn't been too into it nowadays. But I think this is a very good bounce back fight for actually both guys, but I think Jordan Mein here is going to come out on top. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jordan Mein on this one. I think he gets it done. He's also Canadian. You know, this card's in Canada, so that's another extra plus. So I'll take Jordan Mein to win in the 2nd round by knockout. Alright, next fight, we got Alicio Di Chirico versus Oliver Bambose. So we got Bambose, who's just primarily just a power striker. Very bad takedown defense, but lots of power. All wins by KO against teixeira. Kind of well-rounded. You know, decent stand-up, decent ground game. Doesn't excel at anything though, and he's only 10-1 in his career, so only has one loss. Bambose's coming off a second round KO loss to Paula Costa. Surprisingly, he actually had two takedowns in that fight. Before that, you know, he gets taken down quite easily by Cesar Ferreira. And his only win in the UFC was against Daniel Sarafian, where he knocks him out in the first round. So as you guys can see, this guy does lose by KO also, so he can be knocked out. But in this fight, I feel it's going to be kind of like the Cesar Ferreira fight. I think Chirico, being, you know, the better fighter on the ground, will take Bambose down and just kind of hold him down, just beat him up on the ground. This guy does have some submission wins also in his record here. He has 3 rear naked chokes and a key lock. Got finishes in his record here, even though he hasn't had no finishes in the UFC so far. And what they mark him as 10-1, but he got 2 losses, so that should be what, 9-2 or 10-2. But anyways, I see Chirico winning the fight, guys. I see him using that ground game. He is a slight favorite, -130. But on DraftKings, which if you guys don't know, that's pretty much what I play, and it also does kind of, you know, make me want to pick some underdog or value picks on the cards. Actually, Chirico is the cheaper fighter on DraftKings, which is kind of weird. So at -130, that's obviously, I mean, they're pretty much saying Chirico's, you know, the underdog or whatever on DraftKings, even though he's actually the favorite here on the betting line. So yeah, I think there's value on Chirico. I think he has a path to victory. Take Bambose down, avoid power shots, and win the fight on the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and take Chirico. I don't know if he gets a finish here, so I'll say Chirico by decision. All right, next fight, John Makdessi versus Abel Trujillo. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just take Abel Trujillo on this one. He's not a slight favorite, but yeah, almost 2-1, -175 favorite against Makdessi. Makdessi hasn't looked too great lately. He's coming off, I think, a KO loss to Venata. We got Abel Trujillo's page here, though. Let me just check him out real quick. Yeah, he's coming off a loss to James Vick, who's obviously a top 10 guy. Gets tapped down in that 3rd round. Before that, this guy actually had 3 wins in a row. One was a DQ win, and then another one was a submission win in the 1st round, and then he had a decision win against Jordan Rinaldi. So yeah, he had a little bit of a win streak going on there. Obviously, a lot of people know that Trujillo has explosiveness, has power in his hands, and he has explosive takedowns. He's pretty much one of those explosive guys. You know, got a lot of muscle, and uses that strength to win the fight. Makdessi here, primarily a striker. As you guys can see right there, of course, got knocked out by Venata in the 1st round. Before that, he beats Magdi Baghdad by split decision. Close fight, but whatever, he won the fight. And as you guys can see, he also has some losses there. So yeah, Makdessi hasn't looked too great lately, so I'm going to go ahead and just take the better looking fighter here so far, Trujillo. I know he's coming off a loss to James Vick, but James Vick was a top 10 guy. Makdessi not looking great so far, or not looking great recently here. So I'm going to go and pick Trujillo to win this fight. He could get a finish here, since Makdessi is coming off a KO. It's kind of hard to trust Trujillo, though, to get that quick finish. It's either going to be a quick finish or just going to go to decision here. So let's go ahead and just say Trujillo by 2nd round knockout. Alright, so yeah, the Tim Elliott fight's canceled, so we'll just skip that. Alright, next fight, we got Chad Laprise versus Galore Bofondo. Both of these guys are strikers. Let's go ahead and check out their pages here. So Chad Laprise, Canadian striker, well-rounded. Been looking great here at 170 pounds. He beat T-Ball Gotti, kind of a no-name guy, but whatever. He KOs him very quickly in this fight in the 1st round. Then he also knocks out Brian Camozzi in the 3rd round. So we know this guy got power. He's a sharp striker. His last loss was with Ross Pearson, where he loses by split decision, and I think he actually should have won that fight, from what I remember anyway. And before that, he gets knocked out by Charnaldo, but I mean, that's kind of that's gonna happen. Sometimes in these fights, someone just gets knocked out like that. So yeah, I mean, other than that, Laprise hasn't looked bad at all in the UFC. As far as I know, I think that loss against Chernobyl was his only legit loss in the UFC. So besides that, he looks pretty solid. Like I said, really good stand-up fighter and a good striker. Galore Bafando, this guy's 35 years old, getting a little bit older, has excellent kicks. I think he's a 2-time world champion in kickboxing, 3-time British champion in kickboxing. Yeah, he's coming off a first-round KO win against Charlie Ward, where he just pretty much pushes the guy down and the guy gets knocked out. So we know this guy's explosive. We know he got power. 4 wins by KO. Both losses are by DQ. So I mean, I guess legitly he hasn't actually really lost a fight since he's lost by disqualification. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick Chad Laprise in this matchup. He is a favorite, -145. I actually thought he was a bigger favorite than that. So obviously people are picking Bafando here. He is explosive, has excellent kicks, good power. But I think Laprise here has the better hands, more experience. Also has an underrated grappling game that he could maybe employ here in this matchup. I don't think Lawler is that good on the ground. So I see Laprise winning this fight, and we could see him getting a finish here on the ground if it goes to the ground. If not, maybe even on the feet. Probably the safe pick is Laprise by decision, but I'm going to go ahead and just say Laprise 3rd round knockout. Alright, so we got Julian Marquez versus Darren Stewart as the next fight here. So yeah, pretty quick pick, pretty easy pick. I'm picking Julian Marquez. This guy got power. He's a big favorite, -310. Darren Stewart's kind of a bum, nothing special. He got power, but other than that, doesn't look, hasn't looked great in the UFC. From what I've seen anyway. So I'm not impressed by Darren Stewart here, even though he is a young fighter, only 26. But so you guys can see his UFC career here not looking great at all. Julian Marquez looked pretty good in the what do you call it, the Dana White Contender Series. Got that 2nd round knockout. This guy got heavy hands. Seems to have decent wrestling, decent striking. He's kind of just a well-rounded guy. There's right there, summary: wrestling, Thai boxing, and jiu-jitsu. So he's well-rounded. He's also a big 185er. Yeah, so I like Julian Marquez in this matchup. I think he's gonna have too much power. And yeah, I think he's just gonna be able to win the fight. So I'm picking Julian Marquez, and I do see a finish happening here. Maybe in the 1st or 2nd round. Marquez does have a very high finishing rate. All 6 wins are by knockout. So yeah, I don't see Darren Stewart hanging in there too long. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Julian Marquez wins in the 2nd round by KO. All right, next fight here, featured fight on the FS1 prelims. We got Jared Cannonier versus John Blachowicz. Very close fight. Yeah, I was kind of struggling here to pretty much pick someone. We do got Blachowicz as the underdog at +145. Cannonier -170. Both these guys have good stand-up, but the better boxer is Cannonier, and the better kicker is obviously Blachowicz. Has an excellent left body kick. But to me, I think it's going to be about the volume. Both guys have fought high-level competition. Obviously, Cannonier, I think his what do you call it? His best opponent was Glover. Obviously, he lost that fight, but Glover just pretty much took him down. Just kind of control him on the ground and whatnot. Both these guys' weaknesses are the ground games. I do feel Blachowicz is the better fighter on the ground, so I don't know, maybe Blachowicz could be sneaky here and maybe impose some sort of takedown game, because I do think Cannonier is probably going to win the stand-up exchanges with his boxing. But Blachowicz also does have some size here. He's 3 inches taller, and to me, I think he's the more bigger light heavyweight here in this matchup. So Blachowicz also got the size advantage. That's going to help with that grappling advantage also. So it just kind of depends how the fight goes here. If it goes to the ground, obviously Blachowicz is going to have the advantage on the feet. On the feet, it's close because Blachowicz isn't a bum on the feet, but I think Cannonier throws too much volume. And like I said, I do think he is the better boxer anyway. So I'm going to go and just pick Cannonier here, guys, on this matchup. But it's a very close fight. Could go either way. but I'm going to go ahead and pick Cannonier here on this one. I think Blachowicz is very durable, so I do see Cannonier winning by decision. Alright, so next fight here on the Fox main card. According to this, there's only 4 fights. I thought, they had more than that, but whatever. Anyways, Fox main card. Pretty decent main card here. We got Glover Teixeira versus Misha Cirkunov. I'm just going to go ahead and just pick against Misha Cirkunov here in this matchup. He actually is the favorite, -152. I know Glover is coming off a bad loss here. Let's just check out his recent performances here. He is getting older, 38 years old. Coming off a 5th round KO loss to Gustafsson. Before that, he beats Jared Cannonier. And before that, he gets knocked out by Rumble. So obviously, we see a pattern here. This guy is starting to become a little bit chinny. The thing here is that Cirkunov, I don't think he's as chinny, but he can be knocked out, as you guys saw in the last fight. I was very big on Misha Cirkunov. I didn't think Volkan was going to be able to knock him out that quickly. And yeah, he knocked him out very quickly in that fight. Before that, as you guys can see, Cirkunov was looking very damn impressive. He was finishing all his opponents, especially by submission. And yeah, he just gets knocked out very quickly by Volkan. He gets hit behind the ear, against the fence or whatever, kind of almost like in a clinch position. And yeah, he gets knocked out easily. I mean, he gets hit one time behind the ear and he falls, and that's pretty much it. So Glover, I think he still got punching power, and obviously now we see that Cirkunov does have a weakness and he can be knocked out. So I'm going to go and take Glover in this matchup just because I do feel he is the better stand-up fighter, and also he does have a grappling game. He's not like he's not like Jared Cannonier, a guy who only has stand-up skills. Glover is well-rounded. He has good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu, and he's a good grappler, but obviously he's more of a boxer nowadays. But he's well-rounded. Cirkunov, this guy primarily just wants to take people down to the ground, expose them on the ground, and so on. From a podcast that I was listening to, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, the Dogger Pass podcast. A big fan of that, by the way. Anyway, shout out to those guys. They were saying, I think it was Paul. He was saying that Cirkunov's only fought guys pretty much with I want to say like guys that he should be able to beat on the ground, pretty much, like guys with no ground game, like Nicholson, not much of a ground game. Jolly, no ground game. Kudaleba, well, he's a sambo guy, but whatever. Krylov, not much of a I guess he has kind of a ground game, but at the same time not really. So yeah, I mean, maybe Cirkunov is just exposing guys that are low level in the grappling area, whereas I do feel Glover here is a step up from those guys, especially on the ground. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just take Glover in this matchup. Like I said, better stand up and well rounded, so I'm gonna go take Glover. If Cirkunov wins, I'm not gonna be too shocked, but yeah, I'll take Glover here to win this fight by KO. Fuck it, by knockout. I'm gonna go ahead and say he wins in the 2nd round. Alright guys, so now on to the next fight. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Mike Perry. Both good strikers, excellent power. But it's a very easy pick for me. I think I'm gonna go ahead and have to pick against Mike Perry. I feel like I'm always picking against this guy, but he's been beaten before, and I do see Santiago winning this fight. I think Santiago is the bigger welterweight fighter. He has just as much power as Mike Perry, if not more. He's rangier. He's a sharper striker. I would say the durability probably goes to Mike Perry. I think Mike Perry does have a better chin, but I mean, I don't think it matters here. Both these guys are power punchers. Both of them heavy hitters. So either one of these guys could go down, but I just feel like Ponzinibbio having that extra length will help him here, and him just obviously being the more well-rounded striker is going to be able to help him here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's coming off a very good performance against Gunnar Nelson. I see the train going here. So yeah, I'll take Ponzinibbio to win this fight, and I do see him getting a KO win here. So I'll take Ponzinibbio. I'm going to go ahead and say 2nd round knockout. Alright, now on to the co-main event, guys. we got Ricardo Lamas versus Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett missed weight, weighing at 148.5, I think. So yeah, he didn't make the featherweight limit or whatever. But anyways, fight's still happening. So yeah, he didn't make weight, so obviously he had a bad cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick Lamas. I mean, I was gonna pick him anyway. For a while, I was thinking maybe Josh Emmett maybe could have a chance. He was looking pretty determined in the countdown show or whatever. But yeah, I just feel like Lamas, I mean, he's looked great. Just completely starched Jason Knight in his last fight. To me, this guy only loses to the top guys. Josh Emmett, obviously not a top guy yet. Yeah, obviously, if Emmett beats Lamas, then, well, obviously Emmett's going to look pretty solid here. But, I mean, he did miss weight. So I expect him to come a little bit more drained here in this fight. I mean, he had a bad cut. He couldn't make the weight. So, I see already a downside of picking Josh Emmett. Plus, I just think Lamas here is the better fighter, more well-rounded, good wrestler. Both these guys are good wrestler, but I feel Lamas is a sharper striker. So I'm going to take Lamas in this matchup. Not too sure he gets a finish, so I'm going to go ahead and say Lamas by decision. Alright, guys, now we're on to the main event. We got Robbie Lawler versus Rafael dos Anjos. So my official pick here is dos Anjos. So reason I'm picking him, I just feel like dos Anjos has looked great lately, especially at 170 pounds. Obviously, he's the smaller fighter here, but I don't think the weight advantage is going to be too much of or the weight difference is going to be too much of a advantage here for Robbie Lawler, even though he's the bigger fighter, because I don't see Lawler wanting to grapple. I see it being a stand-up fight. And I see in the stand-up fight, I see dos Anjos kind of picking apart Robbie Lawler on the feet. I feel like dos Anjos is the better striker. He has fast hands, has a good pressure boxing game. He's always moving forward, landing good shots, putting the pressure on you, landing those leg kicks. So I just feel like dos Anjos is more well-rounded there. He has a more diverse striking game. Whereas Lawler, he's a good striker. Does throw some kicks here and there, but to me he's more of a boxer brawler type of style. He just wants to sprawl and brawl, throw those hands, and try to knock you out. I mean, obviously, like I said, he does try to mix in some kicks here and then. But yeah, I mean, we already know what Lawler wants to do. And coming off his last fight here against, I'm gonna go ahead and load up the fighter pages here. So yeah, coming off his last fight here against Donald Cerrone. There it is right there. As you guys can see, he did win the fight, but a lot of people were saying that, that Cerrone should have won the fight, and so on. I think I did pick Lawler to win that fight, but he did not look that great to me in that fight, to be honest. So I wouldn't be shocked if Cerrone would have won that fight. So yeah, Lawler didn't look that great in that fight against Cerrone, whereas Whereas dos Anjos is looking very solid here at 170 pounds. His last loss was to Ferguson, but that's at 155. But yeah, I mean, as you can see here at 170, he fought Tarek Saffiedine, a good striker. Put the pressure on him. He won that fight by decision, and then he beats Neil Magny in the first round by submission. So that was impressive. Magny's one of those guys, who is always going to be kind of a top 15 type of guy. Whatever, he smokes him easily in that first round. So we know dos Anjos here, he can hang here at 170 pounds. He's quicker at this weight, and he does say, he was saying that, he feels more refreshed, got more energy or whatever because he doesn't have to cut as much weight. So yeah, I like dos Anjos here in this matchup. Like I said, I think the striking is going to be, pretty much the answer for dos Anjos to win the fight. I think him just keeping it on the feet. But also mixing in some takedown attempts here and then, to pretty much set up more strikes, or just to get Lawler to respect the the takedown attempts, because dos Anjos is really good on the ground. So I mean, I know he's gonna want to mix in those takedowns anyway, but I think on the feet he can hang with Lawler all day as long as he doesn't get caught with like some huge shot. I think he should be able to hang on the feet. So I don't think dos Anjos, got to really take the fight to the ground. So yeah, I like dos Anjos' chance here to win the fight everywhere. He is, I'm pretty sure, the favorite here. Slight favorite. Yeah, negative 122. So yeah, I'll take Dos Anjos. And it's going to be hard to finish Lawler. So I'm going to go ahead and just say Dos Anjos by decision. Alright, guys. So that does it for me on the UFC Fight Night Lawler versus Dos Anjos picks. So let me go ahead and give you guys my top 3 most confident picks. So top 3 most confident would have to be Julian Marquez. I think he for sure gets the win. Next would have to be, damn, like I said, this is a very close card, but it have to be Ricardo Lamas. So obviously both those guys are huge favorites. But yeah, I feel very confident in picking both those guys. And the next confident pick, I don't know. Kind of want to say ponzinibbio. But man, Mike Perry got that power, man. So he does, he always got a chance when he got that power. You know what? Most confident. The next most confident pick would have to be, you know what? I was gonna say Jordan Mean, but probably Abel Trujillo. Yeah, Makdessi doesn't seem, like he's looking good nowadays here in this fight. So yeah, probably Trujillo. So those are my top 3 most confident picks. The least confident pick would have to be, what do we got here? Maybe, what do you call it? Maybe Glover. Maybe he gets caught, or nah, maybe not. Maybe he doesn't get caught. I mean, maybe he just gets taken down. Maybe he can't stuff the takedowns, and Cirkunov beats him by decision or taps him out somehow. But I doubt that. Or maybe DiChirico here. I don't know. One of those guys. Maybe this guy just gets starched by Barbosa in the first round by by knockout or whatever. But yeah, anyways, that's gonna be it, guys, for my picks. Let me know what you guys think about them. Overall, I think pretty solid picks here, and I do see myself easily going. How much fights we got here? 4, 6, 2, 12 minus the Elliott fight. So we got 11 fights here. I do for sure see myself getting for sure 6 out of 11, right? 100% here. So, but I'm pretty sure I'll do better than that. But for sure I do see getting more than half right here. So yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty good card, and yeah, hopefully the picks go good. But yeah, go ahead and just post your comments below on who were your guys' picks or what you guys think about the picks. But yeah, that's gonna be it, guys, for me. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for the support. Check out the links below in the description to support the channel. Got the DraftKings link down there if you guys like to do these picks, but want to try to make some money, play some DraftKings. But yeah, that does it for me, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.